So I'm here making another video and I'm going to explain myself when I say that I don't believe in the Bible. But I do support that the Bible is a flat earth book. Um, these are just questions that I have. I do believe the Bible is a flat earth book, but I don't believe everything that's in the Bible or things that are things in the Bible, they're certainly misinterpreted. Um, I I was once a youth pastor, and I read this Bible um, religiously, and I the reason I had to leave this religion was because I started to see false. I started to question things in the Bible, and I was find things in the Bible, and I would interpret them in a totally different way that it was being explained to me, and um, the my pastor would look at me like I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. But this is stuff I want to point out that makes no sense whatsoever. So one thing is that Adam and Eve were put in the Garden of Eden, and God said, um, "But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die." Okay, so that's what God said. Now, the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God does know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Now, the funny thing is that if we go down to the to when God found that they have eaten, and He is confronting them, um, you hear God Himself explaining that man has become um, like God, and uh, Adam and Eve did not die um, on that day. Said they were. So we get the devil was telling the truth. I'm not a supporter of the devil, believe me. Um, I'm not trying to take his side. I'm just trying to show you that things were said, some things happen, like right here. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. Okay? To know from good and evil. And right up here, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, You shall not eat, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die. You shall die. The devil says, No, no. God knows that in the day that you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil, as gods. God in verse 22 says exactly what the devil says. Um, the man has become as one of us to know good and evil. So there, I'm not a supporter. I'm not a Satanist. Um, I believe there is an evil power in the world, um, but I don't support the devil. But here, you see that God lied to Adam and Eve, and that he lied to Adam and Eve. They didn't die that same day. Were they going to eventually die? Yes, but I don't think that's what God meant. I mean, he could have meant it. I don't know. That's open to interpretation. But what is clear is that he says, now man has become one of us to know good and evil. Lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. This is weird to me too because supposedly on earth there's this tree that you can eat of. This is on earth. The Garden of Eden is on earth. Um, you could eat. There's trees in there. One that, we already ate from supposedly, and now we became like gods. Um, but there's a tree of life, and it seems like it says, "Lest he put forth his hand and take also." Also means like is God, like, I know in Christianity, God seems like he's eternal, whatever, but it seems like God is eternal because he also takes from the tree of life, as he says, and take also of the tree, as in Adam and Eve are also going to take, because there's other people taking of the tree of life. Who are these other people? It has to be God. Not only when God talks about himself, um, we're talking about a monotheistic religion here, but the Bible again contradicts itself. He's become one of us. Who's us? That's more than one person. Who is us? Christians come up with so many uh, analogies for this or explanations. I know because I was a Christian, and they come up with God is like an egg. You got the yolk inside. You got the egg white, and then you got the shell. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. If it doesn't make sense, question it. Question it. Um, Again, I don't mean to offend anyone who's a Christian, but I Christianity um, is it's just an evil. I think it's an evil religion. Right here, I think that they just set themselves up as to showing you that if you to really interpret the Bible, the most powerful being in the Bible is the devil. I mean, the devil is the ruler of this earth. It says it in the Bible. Um, Says he's the principe of the air. Um, God, people are more influenced by the devil than God. God has no control over humans. In fact, when I read this and it says also of the tree of life, um, like God is taken from this tree, and He doesn't want Adam and Eve to take of it. I think that God is a sinner because if you look here, the man has become as one of us. How man became one of you? That means man should be perfect. And somebody will say, "Oh no, because they know good and evil." Well, God knows good and evil. Adam and Eve ate from the tree. Now they know good and evil. I don't know. I think that this is suggesting that God is a sinner himself. To know good and evil, you have to commit sin, and God would be um, is a sinner according to this verse. That's how I interpret it, because God knows good and evil. What is so bad about knowing good and evil? How do you get knowledge? By an evil act, by eating from a tree. That's an evil act, and you get rewarded by knowing good and evil, but it's not a reward because they got punished for it. But God knows good and evil, and God is holy. Like, does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. You have to question, if you're a Christian, um, question these things. I know a lot of flat earthers are Christians. Again, I back up the Bible when it is said that it is a flat earth book. Um, it's just weird that there are all these other things in the Bible that does not make sense. The only thing a ball earth person can say is, well, the earth is not flat because look at the earth is not flat. The Bible is a flat earth book, and look at all the crazy stuff in the Bible. That will give them some type of an argument. But when it comes to, I don't think that flat earth is a like Christians. I know they have a strong argument um, for flat earth with the Bible because it is a flat earth book. But I don't think that the creator God, who obviously somebody created this flat earth and a dome and all that, I don't think he's a benevolent being. Just because you're going to put a tree in the middle of a garden and you know that these people are going to eat from that tree, you just set up your kids. Like, you knew the devil's going to come and tempt them, and you allowed it. You allowed it. And I think it was allowed because this other being, this entity, has more power over God and influence. I mean, he was able to supposedly take 1/3 of the stars from the heavens. It's just like the Bible actually promotes the devil. The Bible does not talk about the devil killing anyone that I know of, but I do know of a lot of verses where God sends the Israelites to go kill man, children, and animals because they're sinners. So we have to rethink religion. Again, there are some things I think in the Bible that points to some truth. There's always going to be some truth somewhere, but Christianity is not something that you should be in.